that I would smoke crack because I didn't like who I was, how I fit into my body, nothing like that. I've done nights $7,000, $8,000, $2,000 where you smoke for 3 days, and at the end of the 3 days, there's no dope left, and you're fist fighting. Your old lady's kicking you in the face.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question, please? I'm out here in the cold. I sleep outside on the streets, and I'm just trying to spare some change to get something to eat. Thank you. Yeah, I won't.
Being a drug addict is very hard. It's one of the hardest things I think that anybody can become, you know, because every day is a struggle, it's a hustle. It was 4 apartment buildings, it was like the ghetto, and on the other side of the road was condominiums and townhouses. So when we went to school in the mornings, those middle class to rich kids would throw stones at us and stuff, right? When you're judged by what you have and not who you are, and just slowly progress, you just meet more and more hoods and you get deeper and deeper, right? It's not like one day you roll out of bed and you wake up and say, I think today's the day I'm gonna be a gangbanger in a hood, right? Just slow progression, you know? Like from the time I was 7 till I was like 14, I was sexually abused by my stepmom, and she's supposed to be the one that's supposed to give you comfort, and she's the one doing messed up things. It's what our family home life structure is. That's where you get that start, where you start to absorb, you know, your morals and your ethics and stuff like that. It starts in the very beginning, you know. Like, it's sad that you see, I know women that their kids are, you know, grade 7, grade 8, they get the check and they think the check is for them, you know, and then they go get high and the kid comes home and sees mom ripped, and then he just hates his life, and it just continues on from there, right? Or even younger, who knows? Money's my biggest enemy. You know, if I have it, to control it is very hard. A lot of times you get, you know, $1,000 in your pocket, something like that, right away you want to call the crack man or whatever your flavor is. Mine's crack. That's my choice of drug, is crack cocaine, right? So, I mean, you want to call, and then one's not enough, 10's too many, and before you know it, you're broke, right? And nobody could tell you nothing. Blah, 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 this is what's going to happen. Yeah, whatever. Because you never thought about tomorrow. You never cared, right? Live for the moment. But I think it all starts in the very beginning at the home. You know?
These are the 4 corners over there, and these 3 corners where I basically spare change. Daily commuters that work here every day, they see me every day and they get sick of it every day, but sometimes they'll still throw me money.
My name is Lisa. I'm 40 years old. I have lived and experienced street life since I was 12 years old. I was born in Red Deer, Alberta, and put up for adoption. My parents they were all right. They gave me everything that I needed, but unfortunately it didn't work out because my uncle raped me at 12, and my parents didn't believe me. So they put me to Children's Aid. When I was 13, that's when I started working the streets. At such a young age, it was very hard because I didn't know what I was doing. I only knew one thing now. That's what I was shown to do. That's what was supposed to be right. It bothered me. It still bothers me to this day to think that I did that to my body.
You have to be intimidating in order to survive on the streets. If you don't show intimidation, they're gonna walk all over you. What are you gonna do then? You're gonna have no money.
It was the first night, and this car pulled up, and I went up and asked what he wanted. And he said, not you. I want your girlfriend. So my girlfriend got in the car. Unfortunately, the license plate was all muddy, and they found her 17 days later, hog-tied in a shallow grave.
The only heated area in Barrie where you can crash. It was nice when I first started staying here, and from about here back, it was all open. So I'd store all my stuff, my clothes and stuff down here, put my blankets out. When I'm done waking up in the morning, roll them up, tuck them in. 1 year with my husband, and 2 years off and on my own.
This 15 months was the longest time I ever did as far as thought processing, you know. All the other times I just went to jail, This time here, I'm sitting back, I'm going at 45. I got nothing to show for my life. My kids don't talk to me. I'm a drug addict. I've done enough of disappointing people and letting people down, and I don't want people to walk away from me anymore and go, you know, that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. So I got to fix it, right? Nobody else is going to do it, and you have to just come to terms and say, you know what? I don't want it anymore. I'm sick and tired of it. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I took courses this time in jail for the first time. I took accounting, AutoCAD, and I took the entrepreneurs program. Now, everything they're teaching you in there, by the Ontario government standards, that you bring out into society, and then you go and use those tools that they taught you in there, and none of them work. Because the lady at the bank is telling you, no, that was 8 years ago, or that was 6 years ago. The AutoCAD I was using was 2000. Oh, we're cattle. You get a number, and then it's their job is to keep you coming through the stalls, keep that place full, right? You know, it's a vicious cycle. They need us as much as we need them, type of thing, right? To rehabilitate means to return to a former self or beginning or something like that. So I don't want to be reformed, I want to be formed. I'm already broken and busted up. So I want you to remold me, fix me, you know? And when they say, oh, I got this program and this program, like they had a drug program there, 96 hours. I've been high for 35 years. You're gonna tell me you're gonna fix my problem in 96 hours, and then you give me a stupid certificate and a little orange cutout felt shirt that says, put it in your wallet. Every time you go to mess up, you'll see the orange shirt. It'll make you think twice. Well, they never done drugs before and felt bad. So, you know, it's...
I remember the first time I went to jail. I was like, I think it was like 15 or 16. It was okay. It was good food. I'm doing this to send a message to somebody that might be able to use it and say, no, I'm actually not going to go live out there. See, things like that freak me out just because being in here, still have memories. I just actually got out of jail, and it wasn't fun for me. I started hearing voices. Yeah, I burnt myself with cigarettes every once in a while to ease the pain, but I've cut myself to a point where my body is disgusting. It's pretty bad. I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and that is what the psychiatrist believes caused me to do that and caused me to hear the voices. I'm just right now at this point transitioning myself back into community. I've never in my life found my own place. Somebody's always done it for me. And I'm proud to say today I found my own place, and I'm happy, and it's nice.
It's hard to get legitimate when you finally say, okay, I've had enough. I want to go straight. I want to live like normal people. I want to have a bank account and da 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 da. You get so many questions, and you just don't know where to turn, and you don't know if you're going to say the right thing or the wrong thing to offend anybody. And for all the agencies that are out there that say they help us, I think what they do is help themselves more than they help us. You know, like giving somebody coffee till 2 o'clock and peanut butter and bread till 2 o'clock is not a way of helping them, you know. If they got a drug problem, they're coming and asking for a street kid, somebody should be talking to them saying, like, you know, we don't smoke drugs or smash needles because we're feeling good. We do it because we're feeling shitty. We're trying to feel good, right? To just kind of let you know that the people that are the white collar worker / blue collar, they're very much out of touch because they believe what's on that TV. People talk about homelessness and this and that, but they don't really understand it. At our stage in life, I believe you have to get to the bottom of the barrel and then want more. You know, I got friends of mine that are in the same boat I am, but they have no desire to fix it. They like getting up in the morning out of their ditch, and they like going and collecting pop cans or beer cans and beer bottles and getting their first can of the day or their first joint or whatever. Life shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't have to be numb to function.
The worst part of it, as a matter of fact, for weather, is in the spring. When the snow starts to melt, keep you dry. You can always bury yourself under 3-4 sleeping bags, and when it's really cold, but once the dampness sets in and once the snow melts in the spring, that is the worst time of year out here. If you start a fire, and even if it's only just in order to keep warm, then when the police come in, if they come in, sometimes they'll bring the fire department and they'll start writing tickets.
We just got about $800 in tickets the other night because we had a fire. We were just keeping warm, and they wrote them up boats for $360 a piece.
They know by giving these tickets to people like us, we can't afford to pay them.
No, they don't care.
So why do they bother?
That's a good question, isn't it? And they don't give you any options or any way to dig yourself out and do better for yourself, which it should be all about. Nobody wants to be out here.
We go collect cans, beer cans, because you know what? We can take it in at 9 o'clock in the morning and cash it in, and we know at least we got 25, 30 bucks in our pocket. It's not living, but we can survive.
It's
yeah,
surviving.
exactly, Chris.
It's surviving.
Strict Catholic upbringing, very loving home, but I was adopted when I was 2. So I never knew my natural parents. My life fell apart when I was a teenager, basically. I started using drugs, alcohol. I was a full-blown alcoholic by the age of 15. I had great parents. My parents have they're really not part of the equation of what my problems were. It's just growing up, I hid a lot of stuff. I always kept everything inside, bottled up, so I never dealt with my issues. My parents' greatest fault is that they loved me too much. It's to a point where they enabled me almost. Never finding the right kind of help. I'd be hooked up with different counselors and agencies. Everybody needs individualized care, and it needs to be a little more accessible where people don't feel so intimidated, because it is intimidating to go ask for help, especially when it revolves around addictions, especially. It's kind of hard to humble yourself.
I'm 41 years old. My name's Chris. I always feel like I can, better myself eventually. I've always been a worker. I had drug issues in the problem with cocaine. You don't want to be around people that are using your drug of choice, right? I've been clean for a long time, actually. But I am an alcoholic, right? The coke, that's a struggle, actually. I'll fight with that addiction for the rest of my life.
Is it hard to feel proud of yourself about the coke when you're still an alcoholic?
It's degrading. Even just drinking beer every day.
Do you feel guilty?
So, sure I do. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be proud to kick the coke, right? But you still feel that's not enough.
You know what? That'll be something that'll be with me for the rest of my life. And that's something you learn when you go to NA or AA meetings. That is a fight, a battle that you're gonna carry with you for the rest of your life. Even if you haven't done it in 5 years, or you haven't done it in 10 years, or you haven't done it in 2 weeks. It never goes away. So you have to fight that addiction forever. That's the truth, yeah.
The way we see ourselves in our head of our projection of ourselves is our own worst enemy, right? A lot of us can say whatever, but at the end of the day, when you gotta look in the mirror at yourself, can you say you like you? Can you say you're proud of what you've become? In here, all day long, I walk around screaming. I just want to just yell my head off, right? Just because it's just... So you're always struggling to be on that side, but when you're done, you come back to this side and you go, well, this is where I guess I belong, right? Because you feel more comfortable on the shit side of life. I think, anyway, as a drug addict, right? Misery keeps me company, believe it or not. As sad as that sounds, It's the one thing that we have that we can always run to. You can't take my pain away, right? It's mine. I own it. So if I want to feel sorry for myself, I can, right? But it's not the way it's supposed to be. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of drug addicts can't get away from the drugs, is because the drugs don't make you feel better, they stop you from feeling bad.